15. Conclusion. They arrived in Vilnius in the afternoon, still cheerful and happy. After dinner, the miller sat in an armchair, smoked a pipe, and then went to work to take a nap. The unmarried couple walked hand in hand on the shore of a deep, jade-colored lake. They sat down on a stone shaded by willows and looked at the gloomy Seong castle, with its tall huts reflecting on the lake. Suddenly they saw an island with 3 night trees. And quote, "How happy it is to go out there and play," and quote. Babbitt said that because she felt a burning desire to go sit under the shade of a tree on the island. That wish can be fulfilled in a moment. There was a boat tied loosely to a tree. They went to find the boat owner to ask to borrow it, but found no one. However, they still kept getting off the boat. Rudy is very good at sailing. He rowed boldly. The country gives in to any small force, but nothing can resist its formidable power. It can be said that it graciously offers its back for people to ride and also always opens its mouth, ready to swallow us whole. It smiles, seems gentle, but it can also be devastating and cause the most terrible disasters. After a few minutes, the couple arrived on the island. They were happy like crazy, dancing happily. Rudy took Babette 3 times around the narrow island. Then they sat on the bench under the apricot tree. They looked at each other, holding hands. Around them, the landscape glowed with the afternoon sunlight. The pine forests on the mountains turn a tawny color like lilac or heather. The rocks glistened like molten metal and looked transparent. The lake surface can be compared to a vast field. The blue darkness gradually spread to the foothills of the snowy mountains of Zavoa, but the tops of the mountains were still purple. People imagine it to be like the first days of the earth, when the mountains were like glowing red jelly coming out of the ground. It was a scene that Rudy and Babette had never seen before. The snow-capped Dandimi mountain, brighter than the moon, was just rising on the horizon. The couple said to each other, and quote, "So gorgeous. So happy," and quote. Rudy said, "On this earth, I no longer dream of anything. An hour like this is worth a lifetime." He met a lot of happiness, and enjoyed it, many times thinking it was over. But then one day passes, another day begins to be even more beautiful. God is truly infinitely merciful. Babette said, "My heart is also filled with gratitude to him." Rudy said again, "The earth can give you nothing more than what you feel." From the mountains of Zavoa and Switzerland the bells rang, announcing the time of evening prayer. Looking to the west, one sees the peaks of the Jura Mountains glittering in a sea of gold. Babbitt said, her face brimming with tears of affection, "I pray that God will give you all the best and most desirable things in the world." Rudy replied, "He will do exactly that. My beautiful little wife. Tomorrow you will belong to me, tomorrow you will be completely mine." Suddenly Babette cried out, "Look, the boat, the boat!" The boat was hit by the lake waves and lost its rope and was drifting away from the island. "Let me drag it in," saying that, Rudy threw away his clothes and boots, jumped into the water, and being a good swimmer, he quickly glided towards the boat. He swam to the cold blue-gray water that the Rhône River brought from the glaciers. He looked down at the bottom for a moment, just for a moment. He saw that at the bottom there seemed to be a sparkling golden ring rolling. He thought about his lost engagement ring. But the eyebrow ring gradually grew bigger and wider. In an instant it turned into a large, bright circle. In the middle of the inner ring opens a large glacier, with deep chasms with empty mouths. Thousands of drops of water fell in a wailing music, a death knell. The crystal walls reflect white, blue flames. In an instant, Rudy saw a scene that would take too long to describe. Down there was a crowd of young hunters, maidens, men and women who had fallen into the abysses of the glaciers and died there. They looked alive, eyes wide open and smiling at Rudy. A little later, a city was almost submerged in lake water. The mountain streams ring the church bells and make the organ resound. The people all knelt in the cathedral, where in the past they had taken refuge when the accident happened. At the bottom, the ice goddess is sitting. When she saw Rudy, she stood up. She hugged his leg and put her lips on it. The hunter seemed to be shocked by an electric current, then his limbs were numbed by a terrible cold. And quote, "To my hands. To my hands? You have returned to my hands," and quote. That triumphant cry echoed around him. And quote, "When you were little, I kissed you on the lips. Today I kiss you on the heel. You are mine, completely mine." And quote. And Rudy disappeared into the clear blue water. On the ground, everywhere was silent. The afternoon bell stopped. Clouds lose their brilliant color. And quote. "You are back in my hands." And quote. Those sounds echoed under the water and also echoed in the sky. The screams filled the endless space. Jumping one step from love on earth to scenes of pure joy in heaven, is that happiness? The cold kiss of death has destroyed a shell that must perish. An immortal soul emerges from there and is ready to enter the real life that awaits it. Deadly dissonance has transformed into heavenly harmony. Would you say that and number 39, a sad story? Poor Babette. Yes, for her those were the worst times of fear. The boat goes further and further away. No one on shore knew that the unmarried couple was out on the island. It was dark. At night, Babette was alone, groaning in pain and writhing in despair. A flash of lightning flashed across the Jura Mountains. Another light flashed on the snowbank, illuminating the entire surface of the lake. Babette stood up startled. She saw on the surface of the water the ice goddess standing there, her expression fierce and majestic. At her feet was Rudy and number 39's body. "It and number 39's mine," she said, and then disappeared. Babette said, "Evil army. Why did you kill him on the eve of our brightest day?" She continued, "Oh God. Please enlighten my soul and heart. Please let me know your mysterious intentions." God heard her voice. The one who enlightened her soul. She remembered the dream she had last night, remembered what she had wished for in that dream, seeing it as the supreme happiness of Rudy and herself. She said, "I really deserve to die. So is the seed of sin already in my heart? Is what I dreamed about my destiny? And is it really better for him to die like that?" Her moans resounded louder. Suddenly remembering Rudyard and number 39's last words. And quote. "The earth cannot bring you a greater happiness," and quote. Her heart tightened. Many years passed. The lake smiled. The hills and mountains look beautiful. Many ships surfed the waves, flags fluttering in the wind. Many large boats with pointed sails fly lightly on the lake surface like giant dragonflies. The railway crossed Zion and up the Rhône River valley. Tourists flocked to the stations. They hurriedly opened the Tourist and number 39's guide in Quat, with the red and green cover, looking for strange sights to visit. And they saw in the storybook a young couple about to get married. In 1856, when they went to visit the island with 3 trees, the fiancé died and it wasn't and #39 until the next day that people heard a great scream from the shore. A young woman and number 39's hope. But the book only says that. The book does not mention Babette and number 39's secluded life living with her father, not at the mill. It was sold because she did not want to live in a place that reminded her of so much shattered happiness. They live in a beautiful house near the station. She often stood for hours at the window, looking past the chestnut trees to the snowy mountains where Rudy hunted. Every time she sees the alpine peak tinged with brilliant red at sunset, she remembers the last afternoon of the 2 of them. Sometimes, when she was sad and suffering a lot, she seemed to hear the Tai Duong princesses singing and telling the story of how the storm swept away the traveler and number 39's cloak. And Quat. There and number 39's no need to be sad. It can only steal the shell, not the person. And Quat. And in her mind the thought flashed that God arranged everything very cleverly. She knew that better than anyone since she dreamed. Thank you for joining us for today's fairy tale. We hope these stories bring joy and meaning to your day. If you love our channel, please hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any exciting tales. Wishing you a good night and sweet dreams. See you in the next story.